Hello my amazing tarot friends, it's Justin Michael. Welcome back to my channel, and of course welcome if this is your first time visiting. I appreciate you stopping by as always. This is going to be a video on Minchiate, which is, I only have 3 decks. There aren't many Minchiate decks around to begin with. I missed a few. There were a few, like Los Scarabeo did one. You know, there are a few that are out of print and super expensive on eBay. I don't have those. I'm always looking for good Minchiate, but right now I only have 3. So that's what I'm going to show you today. Minchiate is basically a cousin of tarot. It's a game of trumps, and well, there she goes. Hopefully she leaves us alone. Get out of here, you. Come on, Dada. That's all she had to do. She just had to cross the camera, which is great, isn't it? Anyway, so Minchiate is a game, and it's usually played in teams, actually. 4 people is what it originally was, but there are derivatives with 3 players and so forth. It's a game of taking tricks, and, you know, all the cards are dealt but 14. And then there's a way to sort of reveal what those 14 cards are, and you can swap those cards out for other cards and increase your hands. I don't really know. I'm not, like, super familiar with the game. I just basically read about it, but the term Minchiate actually means bullshit, which is funny. It's a derogatory term in some parts of Italy, and certain regions have actually changed the name. And I think Germany was one of them, and there were a few different, you know, names for it. But we call it Minchiate because it's not a curse to us, you know. And it's kind of cool because there are games called bullshit here, so it's kind of like that, really, because you're tricking people in the game. So it makes sense that it's called Minchiate, right? I mean, it makes sense to me. That's a leap that I took, but anyway. So we're going to look at the decks in a minute, but I want to show you this amazing book that I got first, because I'm going to be using it as a reference for what we're doing here. But, you know, I also want to show you how great this book is, because so this is the Encyclopedia of Tarot by Stuart Kaplan. There are at least 4 volumes. There may be more than 4, but there are 4 that I know of. The others are so expensive, and this is the only one that's in print. And I held off on getting it for so long because I just assumed that it would all be 14th and 15th century tarot in here, and that's it. And then for volume 2, I'd have to get for Tarot de Marseille and so on and so forth. Actually, it doesn't work like that. Volume 1 is a great book to own by itself because it has this great overview of information. There are no other books like this that I've come across yet in tarot. This is really a game changer for me. There's so much information, so I just want to show you a bit of it. So Stuart Kaplan, as you know, was the you know, founder and president or owner of U.S. Games, which, you know, is like, you know, he is responsible for a lot of, like, the Modern Rider deck and, you know, all those great decks that Stuart Kaplan did for AGM and U.S. Games and so forth. So he's really this great collector. He passed away last year or this year, earlier in the year. And he's a great collector and a student of tarot history, and he just compiled all this information, and it's wonderful. It's really great to have. So if you're a student of tarot history, or even just a student of, even as a collector, I think this is an essential book to have, really. If you don't have it, definitely get it. And so that's why I want to show you here, because I don't see too many people talking about this. So, I mean, you see all these chapters, okay? It goes from, well, it has a bit about, like, general tarot, and a bit about the elements, and, you know, some esoteric stuff in the beginning, but, you know, has a bit about the pip suits, you know, so U.S., Britain, France, Germany, and so forth. You know, they all had different suit symbols, and, you know, stuff about chess, you know. And I didn't read all of this yet, but I used this book, like, I feel like I've used this book every day since I've got it for something. So, you know, here we go. Early types of Tarocchi and similar playing cards. So, of course, we have the Visconti Sforza, the Mantenga, Mantenga cards, all about them, you know. Let's see here. A lot about Mantenga. Okay, so here's some stuff about Minchiate. This is the Minchiate of Florence. Florence is where Minchiate originated, we think, you know. And it just has a bunch of cool stuff in here. First off, it has all the trumps listed, which is very helpful because it's confusing because a lot of them aren't, some of them aren't numbered. They don't have titles on them. So you just have to kind of know what they are. And this is very helpful, and that's what I'm going to use this today. But I want to show you some other stuff in here. I mean, all of these decks. Here's the other Minchiate, which is close to the one I'm going to show you by El Meneghello. I mean, so much stuff. About the families, the Visconti and Sforza families. Okay, it has a color section in here, which is really cool. But, you know, the black and white doesn't bother me because the majority of the book is black and white, but it still gets the point across, and it's good enough. And I have most of these decks anyway. Well, not most of them. I'm sorry. That's not correct. I wish I had most of them. I have some of these, the bigger decks, the early decks, like the Visconti Sforza and the Brambilla and all. So this color section is really cool, and it's just something, it's like, you know, tarot porn, basically. You know, that's from Charles VI, I believe. I know it's in Marco Benedetti's Charles VI, but I don't know if it's originally from, well, let's find out. Lovers from the so-called Gringonier pack, but actually 15th century Venetian pack collection of Bibliothèque Nationale. Yeah, Gringonier is known to be the painter of the Charles VI. I don't know if that's known for sure, but I remember Marco saying that. I do recognize that. I believe it's in the Charles VI, but if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so this deck is really, really cool. This is a tarot of the French Revolution, basically. So yeah, it's the grandfather, Le Grand-Père, from the French Revolutionary Tarot pack by L. Carey, circa 1791. I would love to get a copy of that if somebody would redo that. I don't even know if a facsimile exists somewhere in a museum, the images. I would totally take on that project because that's just so cool to me. It's a piece of history. I love the French Revolution, but you get the idea. You have the Rouen Brussels type devil there. You know, what do we got here? 13 lovers from the Rokius, the Jacques Rokius from Switzerland, late 18th century. You know, the Nap Hall. This is a Besançon. Which one? Let's see. The Jerger. And actually, Yves Renaud has that deck. So it's a lot of cool stuff in here, okay? I mean, this is a must. I can look through it all day. Here's something interesting. So this is the Rosenwald Tarot. I'm going to show you a Minchiate version of the Rosenwald by Heather Hall. So I'm going to show you that. But this was interesting. So, okay, so this is the Rothschild sheet. And they don't know if this was a tarot or a Minchiate, because basically, you know, there aren't enough cards to establish. You know, it could be missing certain cards, and they just don't know. And Minchiate did exist then, so it's just really interesting stuff. And I believe Marco showed that Rothschild sheet in one of our videos. You know, he had a copy of it, but all early 15th century, early 16th century wood block kind of simple decks, you know, for the masses, not the hand-painted stuff. I mean, it's amazing. This is a great book. You have to get it. You have to get it. But and then it goes even into the modern tarot. Okay, so I mean, it works its way up. So this is great. Like, so volume 1 is basically an overview of tarot. And I really wish I knew that this existed. There was something that was put out by the Museum of Esoterica or something, but it's nothing close to this. It's not. This has a great glossary, by the way, and a really nice annotated bibliography. There's a picture of Stuart Kaplan. So, you know, just a legend, really. And so yeah, this is a really cool book. And like I said, I'm going to use it. I'm going to pull it out. I feel like I know most of them, but you know, just to have it as a reference. And then we're going to take a look at my Minchiate packs. Okay. So the first one we're going to look at here is, I don't know, it says El Mundo on here. I don't know if that's actually what it's called. But that's what I know it as, you know, the El Mundo. And it's printed in 1791. I believe Piatnik had something to do with this. I don't know 100%, but the person I bought it from said something about Piatnik, but they didn't speak English, and I didn't really understand much. So we're going to look at the Fool first, because I noticed something very interesting about this. And so it looks very Bolognese to me for the first thing I looked. And so it's from Florence. But then we have, and this is a nudity alert. So I'm letting you know this is a really vulgar kind of image I'm going to show you, but it's from the Charles VI deck. So give you a minute to get away from the camera if you don't like that sort of thing. Okay, so we have the Fool from the Charles VI, which is, you know, a really vulgar image, right? But I guess it made sense in the time. You know, he's like the village idiot, I guess. This is the Fool. And so he's so dumb, like he's just walking around naked, and like kids are like playing with his, you know, private parts. But what I noticed is that, you know, the same hat is kind of worn here. And this is, Marco Benedetti told me there's 3 types of Fools from, you know, the Italian decks. And this is, I guess, one of 3. And I just found that interesting. But, yeah, that's all I wanted to show you from that. And so, like I said, a lot of the stuff is very related to tarot. We have the Magician as card 1. But now card 2, even though it looks like a female figure to me, I thought Empress, and you know, of course, you want card 2 to be the High Priestess or the Papess, but it's actually called the Grand Duke, this card. And then card 3, so it doesn't make sense to me because it looks very feminine. I don't know if that's supposed to be a man or a woman, but that looks female to me. So I don't know the story about the Grand Duke, but all of my decks, the Grand Duke position is a feminine-looking figure. So if anybody knows any information about this, I would have really appreciated if you left a comment below about that, because I couldn't find anything about that. And so now we have the Western Emperor instead of the Empress, and then we have the Eastern Emperor instead of the regular Emperor. And now card 5 is the Lovers. Card 6 is Temperance, and 7 is Force or Strength, Forte. And then we have Justice as card 8, which, you know, that's where she is often in the older decks. And then card 9 is actually the Wheel of Fortune. Really interesting. And so, yeah, this deck is, like I said, from 1791, and it is a Florentine Minchiate, but it looks older than it actually is to me, you know. Like, I thought 16th century when I saw this. But. So now we have the Chariot, and then Father Time, or the Hermit in card 11, and the Hangman or the Traitor is still 12. 13 is Death. 14 is the Devil, so he's not 15, he's 14. And the Tower is 15. That tower looks very similar to the Rosenwald tower. You know, even the sun is, it's not, just going off by memory, it's very similar, you know. And so 16 now is one of the, it's Hope, which is one of the virtues. So we have Hope, Prudence, Faith, and Charity. Very interesting. So they've entered now in between the tarot trumps. They sort of split the tarot trumps down the middle, it seems like. And now they've entered 4 virtues. They have 4 elements. So we have fire, water, earth. You have the trees and so forth. And then air. So you have like birds and stars and so forth. And now we have the scales of Libra. So we have 12 zodiac cards. Okay, and Virgo, Scorpio, Aries, Capricorn, the goat, Sag, the archer, Sagittarius, Cancer, Pisces. This is the water bearer of Aquarius, Leo. The sun, the moon is in Leo today, just entered Leo. Taurus, the bull, and the Gemini twins. So now we're back to the tarot trumps. You see what I'm saying? So now we have the star, and these are unnumbered, which is interesting in this pack. I don't know if that's always, but you have this star, which is very similar kind of star. We've seen this kind of star before, and then you have that like kind of a veil almost moon. You know, the astronomer, the sun. I don't know if it's just... Yeah, see, these cards aren't listed on here. Judgment and the World. These are not listed in the other trumps, so I don't know if these are like additional trumps or what. I don't know why they're not numbered. And let me just show you the pips. So there are 56 pip cards. And they kind of look standard kind of pips, you know. They're a little mixed up. I haven't really tried to read with these much. But I'd be interested. I don't know. I think there's maybe too many trumps for it to work. Tarot seems like the perfect balance. And I guess that's probably just because I learned with it. Let's look at some court cards here. So we have, I guess that's going to be the Knight. Yeah, that's going to be, it's probably like Page, Knight, Queen, and then King. So the swords, you know, is very, very close to what we see in the tarot. It's an interesting pack, you know. But, you know, a part of me says that having the 12 astrological and the 4 elements and stuff makes it a little more divination friendly. But then again, it's like, what do? You ask a question. And you get, I mean, I guess it would take a lot of study, but let's say you get Cancer, the Fool, and, you know, 6 of Swords. Like, how do you read that with, like, Cancer in the middle? Or, you know, it would be tricky. It's a lot of information, you know. But then again, like, let's say this was the original, because originally we thought the tarot was the first game. We thought that playing cards came from tarot, but now we know that's not true. We know that tarot came from playing cards. The trumps were added, and then this is just another game where there were even more trumps added, you know. But it's just very interesting to think like that. Like, you know, what if there was no tarot and there was Minchiate? Would we have the same experience with tarot? Will we be reading the cards to the extent that we are today? I don't know. But the 12 zodiac cards are pretty interesting, and it makes it a little tempting to want to read with them. Okay, so this is Il Meneghello. This is the Minchiate Etruria 1725 from Milano. And this is a great deck. I only have one of their Minchiate. I know they have a few. And anything from Il Meneghello is awesome, you know. Like, the precision of the cuts can kind of vary, but when it's good, it's good. And this is a beautiful deck. First off, I love all of their decks. Every deck that I have of theirs, I love and I treasure. And, you know, he's talking about another legend, like Osvaldo Menegazzi is, like, you know, one of the tarot OGs. So, you know, he gets all my respect. But so 470 out of 2,000. This is a Florentine Minchiate. So we're gonna look. First off, the card quality is very beautiful. It's nice and thick, and just really, really good quality paper, which is what I love. The backs are this beautiful yellow color, Etruria, it says. And so now we have a magician's, like, kind of like a cobbler, you know, a cobbler's table or some sort of craftsman, you know. And actually, the juggler or Mountback is really what it's called, but he looks like a magician to me, you know. And then we have the Grand Duke again, which again looks feminine to me, you know. Looks like the Empress, or like maybe a young male, almost androgynous figure. It's interesting, and I kind of like that, but in the same sense, it's like, you know, I don't know what to make of that. But if you know anything, please leave it below. And then now we have the Western Emperor with the eagle in this one, and then the Eastern Emperor with the star. And we have Lovers, Temperance, Fours, Justice, a card 8, and we have the wheel, which that's a beautiful wheel. I love that wheel. Really, really cool. And a really beautiful chariot. And so you'll notice, you know, with these cards, you can see how they have a border. Well, that's because in Italy, and you know, my friend Marco Benedetti explained this to me. You see, even in the hand-painted cards, they have that border. That's because in Italy, the way they made them, there was an extra layer of paper folded over. So there were 3 layers. There was a sheet. It was printed on a sheet. And then it had a middle sheet, sort of a core. And then the back sheet was printed bigger and, you know, about maybe like a half an inch longer. And they would sort of clip the ears, the ends, and they would fold them over. And they would make this, the border would be the same as the backs, essentially. And that's why it has them like that. You probably know that already, but I just wanted to explain that. So we have the Hangman and Death. Devil again at 15. I'm sorry, 14. 15 is the Tower. It's a bit different of a tower here. And 16 is going to be Prudence, I believe, right? Is it Prudence? Hope. Hope, then Prudence, then Faith, and Charity. I don't know the symbolism in why the images are what they are for those virtues. And now we have Fire, which of course is fire. We have a boat for water, beautiful scene for earth, and we have air. So that's really cool. And now we're back to Libra. The scales of Libra, Virgo, Scorpio, Aries, Capricorn, the goat, Sagittarius, Cancer, Pisces, and you get it, okay? So, I mean, it's really cool. Okay, so now that's Gemini, the twins. Now we have, again, the same thing. Sort of split the Tower of Trumps and added that whole section there. They added the 4 elements, the 4 virtues, and the 12 zodiac. And now we're back to the star, moon, sun, and the world in this one, which is interesting. And Judgment. These are not included on the list. In fact, I want to show you that. And then this is the Fool, which is a similar kind of Fool to the Charles VI. You know, except that, you know, you still have the children there, but it's not as vulgar and so forth, you know. But they're sort of the same idea, you know. You can tell it's from a similar tradition. But let me just show you here. Because you only have 35 listed. Just want to show you. So we have 35. You don't have, but I know there are 40 plus the Fool. So I'm not sure why that was. I'll have to read it and see what it says. But, you know, it stops at Gemini. It stops at the end of the zodiac. It doesn't go back to, you know, the star and so forth. So yeah, that's very interesting. Now let me show you some of the pips quickly, and then I'm going to show you this. These are beautiful pips. You know, this is a beautiful deck from a great era. The core cards are interesting, and they're in this order. So you have the guy, the Minotaur or whatever that's called, and then a young kind of maiden with a coin, the queen, and the king. So I don't know if they had different ranks or not. I don't know. I would be curious to know what they were called, if they were different from knight, page, knight, queen, king, or chevalier, whatever it would be called. Beautiful cups. So back the same thing. Well, actually no, it's reversed. Sorry. So I might have switched that around. I don't know, but we have the maiden and then the sort of griffin figure. He's like a half griffin. So really beautiful. Such a beautiful deck of cards. I love it. Okay, so you get the idea. That's Minchiate, Etruria, 1725. Il Meneghello still prints those. I'll leave the link down below so you know where to get that. And last but not least, I want to show you one of actually my favorite. Actually, I think this is probably, I don't know. I hate the rank. I only have 3, but this is one of my favorites of the Minchiate because I just love it. I think it's so cute. It's tiny, and Heather's really cool. Okay, so all Heather, this is Lady Heather Hall. She's a playing card historian and an artist. She has her own line of playing cards, which I'm going to leave below also. I do have a Heather Hall video, which you can see some of her other stuff that she does. She does mostly playing cards, but they all come in like really nice bags. And they're printed, on like just kind of standard cardstock, but I actually quite like it. It's not something you're going to like shuffle really hard. They're just sort of playing games with them and stuff, or collecting, which is what I do. So we have the Fool. This is going to be the Rosenwald, okay? But now we don't know whether the Rosenwald ever existed as a Minchiate or not. It probably did not. But she made it in Minchiate, and it works really well, which is very interesting. So I'm going to show you that. So we have the Fool is usually last, but I'm showing you first because that's the way the cookie crumbles, and that's different from the Rosenwald. I should have probably broke out my Marco Benedetti's Rosenwald, but it's okay. It's just slightly different than his, and she's taken a lot of liberties, artistic liberties, which is part of the reason I like her deck, because it's different, but it's based on the historic kind of deck. A lot of similarities, just different faces and so forth. Okay, so now this would normally be the Empress, but we've made it the Grand Duke because that's the way it is. And then the Emperor becomes the Western Emperor. The Hierophant becomes the Eastern Emperor. The High Priestess is actually useless in this deck for this version. If I want to use it as a tarot deck, I'll pull her out, but there she is. I'm just going to kind of set her off to the side because she doesn't fit in with the Minchiate. Not really. I mean, unless I swap her out for the Hierophant and maybe make her the Eastern Empress or something. Okay, so now we have Lovers, card 5, Temperance, Force, Justice, the Wheel, Chariot, and now we have the Father Time, the Hermit, whatever you want to call him, and Hangman, Devil, Death. I think they got mixed up actually. Death is 13, and now we have the Tower, and so now we have Prudence, I believe. Faith, Hope, Charity. I really don't know which ones. I know this one's Charity, I believe. And now we have the element of fire, water, earth, and air. And then we have the scales of Libra. And I forget which one that is. Scorpio. Yeah, I forget all these ones. This is Sag, Cancer. Those few, I always get mixed up. But Pisces, I know them after that. Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and the Gemini twins. And then we're back to the star again. So the star, moon, sun, This is Judgment and the World. I don't know if that's the exact order. These pips are beautiful. She has beautiful pips. They're all hand drawn from her, you know. And she has a great store, a great online store. I'm going to link that below. I'm going to look at some of her other playing card decks because I really, really love them. Some of them are so pretty. And if you like playing cards, you know, have a look on there because and it's so inexpensive. I mean, you can get a deck for like $20. So, yeah, I mean, the playing card is not going to be Il Meneghello quality, but it's a fraction of the price. So, you know what I'm saying? These are the backs, by the way, Roki. You know what I mean? And she's just a small business, you know, and she's trying to get by in these hard times. And I like to mention people like that. She's really, really nice. So definitely check her story out. She has a lot of great artwork. Okay, well, I think that's about it, guys. Would love to hear from you. Hope this was interesting. Leave your comments below if you have any questions or whatever. You know, if you have any suggestions for any Minchiate that you didn't see here, you know, that if there are any available, I would love to check them out because I am always looking for more Minchiate. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next time, love and peace, everybody. Bye-bye.